a ghost.
The Phantom of the Peony is here tonight. We are not doing Chanelle any justice with our shenanigans. Chanelle shenanigans.
Chanelle shenanigans.
Brought to you by Phantom of the Peony. We have Chanelle Barona on the show today.
Heyo, Chanelle Barona, you know her, you love her from the Wayfinder's Path. We had her on an earlier episode this year.
Yes.
And she's back.
Two-parter.
Yeah, we did a two-parter with her, talking all things spirituality and tarot and astrology. And so today we have her back on the show to talk about what the fuck is going on at the end of this year. What are the planets telling us? What's up? What can we expect for these last few weeks of 2021 and what to expect going into 2022? And let me just say, listening to her talk about all of the things, if you are watching this on the Utabe, you will see me just like head in my hands. Because so much of what she said, I was like, yes, correct, 100%, absolutely. That is exactly what has been going on in my personal life and how I've been feeling. So, yeah, she's a wizard.
For anyone that feels skeptical about astrology or tarot, and they're like, oh, I think I'm going to skip this episode. Don't. I'll tell you why. Mm-hmm. Because you get to immediately test your theory of whether or not you want to believe in it. We recorded this episode 10 days before it's premiering to you guys. Yep. So she gives us a little bit of an overview of what has happened in these past 10 days. Mm-hmm. She's telling us what is going to happen in the future, but for you, it'll be the past. This is like a Christopher Nolan movie.
This is like a Christmas Carol. Oh, she's the ghost of Christmas past and for us future. What? Never mind.
That's because you watched A Diva's Christmas Carol. Now you have that.
Also,
on your mind.
Because I've watched like 3 different versions of A Christmas Carol. I've seen 2 live productions. I watched The Muppets Christmas Carol. I'm about to watch Mickey's Christmas Carol. Look,
yeah,
I'm going all in.
Same but different. I've been watching different timeline movies. So I watched like The Fountain by Darren Aronofsky, Cloud Atlas, like of course all of your heavy hitting sci-fi romances that take place across different timelines. Anyway, you get to listener, you basically get to see, okay, in these past 10 days, has these things that Chanelle was able to predict from what she was told by the universe, have these things resonated with you? Boom, there's your answer. And you're like, okay, this may be something. She is then also going to tell you what to expect going into the new year, January, February, and she pulls some tarot cards as well to kind of give all of us an idea of where we're at, what we can expect, what we need to know. And it was for someone that's been doing a lot of work on myself and been I feel like I've been going through just a spiritual and psychological boot camp. Like whatever that boot camp is when you enlist in the army and they yell at you and you have to like do the monkey bars or whatever. Obviously, I've never been in the armed forces. Thank you for your service. I wouldn't be able to handle it. But like, that's what I've been going through, like doing this mental work. And so she shares a lot of insight of like how that's been going for a lot of people, what we can expect. And it's just a very hopeful, uplifting conversation.
Yeah.
So if you're, you just got back from Christmas with your family and, your Uncle Leonard was being a ding dong and your Aunt Sue was being, preachy, don't lose hope. Yeah. There's a lot to look forward to.
Yeah. It sounds like knocking on wood. It sounds like 2022 is going to be a good year. So fingers crossed, everybody.
Dare we say it? No, I'm not going to say it. We're not going to say it. Will 2020 be our year? Did I jinx it?
Well, you said 2020, so.
Oh.
So the answer is no.
Well, actually, it's for the best because I got the idea across without actually saying the thing. So,
but yes.
Yeah, fuck 2020.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, to Julia's point, it's always a blast having Chanelle on the show. A lot of insight, gave me a lot of good tingly chills. So we hope you guys enjoy this interview with Chanelle of the Wayfinder's Path.
Bring, Chanelle, aka the Wayfinder's Path. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you for having us.
You just know what the people need when they need it. And I'm saying that selfishly because whenever I'm going through like a cataclysmic existential crisis, you always end up DMing me seemingly out of the blue, just like, hey, here's a meme. Don't worry, whatever you're going through, you're going to be fine. And I'm like, how does she know?
Mostly astrology, just what's going on currently tends to just fit the bill. I was having this conversation a couple times this week that like, there's a lot of people who are like, I don't know, I don't believe it. I'm like, well, you watch it every day for a couple of years and then tell me you don't believe, type of a thing. Like, it is uncanny how it all plays out.
100.
I know right now when we're recording, tomorrow is the last full moon of the year. So we've got the full moon in Gemini, which is closing out cycles from about June. We had the new moon in Gemini then. So the intentions we set then are what's coming full circle right now.
I have to remember to make sure I didn't fuck myself over in June.
I was like, I don't remember what I said for myself. Oh no.
But that's kind of it. Any situations you entered in or any things you entered in, maybe from that state that you were at that point, you may karmically still be dealing with right now. We still are dealing with heavy Pluto and Saturn energy in play, which is what's been going on since the beginning of 2020. Like, it really hasn't let up. No, you're not crazy. Like, it has been pretty much chaos. This year's particularly chaotic energy. And that's because Uranus is in the mix. So we've got unexpected and like the things you don't expect. It's Aquarius energy.
Sorry.
Thanks, Julia.
I'm sorry.
But yeah, so the quality of time that we've got going on right now, and for people that are listening in the future, you probably up through Christmas Eve, we've got a few different things hitting. So the things that are coming up, just to sum it up pretty quickly, is tomorrow, the 17th is the full moon in Gemini. So we're seeing, this is ruled by communication. It rules our health. So we're having like health revelations. We're having new information being dropped on us a lot during this time. And also particularly Gemini is the twins. So like duos and partnerships and stuff like that are often in focus. Now on the 19th, so another couple days, we have Venus going retrograde. We've been getting previews of that for the last few weeks or so. And Venus retrograde is basically going to be what we're dealing with until the end of January. And this is a reevaluation of all of our really intimate relationships. They don't always have to be romantic, but they often are. It can be like really close partnerships and family. It's Venus also rules what we desire. So we're looking at what we want out of life now, going, now what? Okay, I've got all this space that's left over because we've been purging for 2 years. And now we're like going, what am I going to put there? And the whole point is that what you put there is what's going to manifest your new life. Like what those spaces that are empty, that are open, that are like, they feel lonely. Those are just spaces where the new things are coming in. A lot of people won't necessarily see those happening for a few months, maybe into January. February is a lot more abundant too. February and on feels really good thus far to what I know. Of course, I'm not going to tell you there's never challenges because, well, there's always going to be challenges. How's it go if somebody's trying to tell you that there is no pain, they're selling you something? Yeah. Sorry, I don't remember the exact
I don't
quote,
either, but I do know it's Carrie Elway.
That's really it. There's always going to be challenges, but what we're doing is we've been purging for so long. We're looking around at this kind of empty room that we've built, going, what am I going to create here next? And there's kind of a period right now where we're realizing that while we're sitting with everything that we've lost, all the emotions and the wounding and everything else that's coming up right now, we're still processing that. So if you still feel like shit, that's okay. It is getting better, but you have to go through it. You have to heal it to feel it, and you have to move through it. You can't just be like, okay, I know that I need to change, and now the thing shows up. It doesn't work like that. You have to go, I know I need to change. You have to then sit with the ego fit that happens, and the ego death has to happen. And then on the other side of it, the thing comes. But you can't like lose sight of that along the way, which is the hardest part, because right now is the darker time of the year as well. This period is, it is about introspection and going inward rather than outward. Because you think of how plants, when they're starting to grow, you know, they get planted in the ground, they're a seed. You don't see any evidence of that growth that's happening and that transformation that's happening under the ground until spring. That's pretty common. And that's something that we as humans, because we don't live out in the woods anymore, you know, we don't live as in cycle with the earth as we used to. And we forget that because the holidays are usually so hectic and so crazy. And this year they're particularly going to be difficult because the last Saturn-Uranus square of the year is on Christmas Eve. I think I mentioned this in the last episode, but it's the transit that rules the whole year. So it started on January 6th with the Capitol riots. It's a push and pull between the old and the new is what it represents. You have Saturn in Aquarius squaring off, which is a conflict, to Uranus in Taurus. So you've got like stubborn energy and forward thinking energy on both sides, mixed and matched. Everybody's like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know where I'm going. We've had we've had 3 already this year. Well, 4th one is on Christmas Eve. I do see big karmic changes. People are leaving jobs. People are falling out of relationship. They are breaking things off with toxic people in their lives. I think there's a lot of like stuff around family drama and like all of just the chaos of the last 2 years. This is the first time a lot of people are going home for the holidays in 2 years. And they're finally going to probably be like, wow, I might have grown, or seeing who's coming with them, see who still resonates. A lot of, as we reconnect to our old lives and our old people that are coming around, because that's what the holidays are about, we've probably realized that we have changed so significantly in the last 6 months in particular, but this last 6 months to 18 months, that we don't want to go back to the way things were. Most of us, a lot of us don't. Some people still do, don't get me wrong. And everybody's going to be affected slightly differently, because that is just how astrology works. It's how it interacts with your own energy. And that has to be looked at on a personal level, you know, chart by chart. But the general theme of what's going on is we still are in the death process. We haven't quite had the rebirth. Some of us who have been working on it and kind of got ahead of the game and it's working for our own personal timing. We are having rebirths as early as now. And some of us have been having them over the last little bit, but there is still that dying process, that intermittent process. But those are the things that give you the nutrients that make the soil fertile for what grows next. Yeah. So it feels like crap right now. I'm aware. And for those of us who probably by the time you're hearing this, they're going to be like, what did I just go through? Like, oh my God, what the hell was that? No, you're not crazy. Hopefully you align to who you want to be rather than who you've always been. And if you do that, that is the recipe for success. Like, that's it. Just be who you know you authentically are. Do the right thing. Do what you know is right by yourself, having healthy boundaries, and you will get through it just fine. And anywhere that you didn't do that is just going to show you where you have room to grow. And that's where you can focus your energies on healing in the future. So it's not a bad thing. It's going to show you wherever you still have room to improve, you're going to know about it. There's a lot of clarity that comes with it.
That's amazing. It's horrifying.
Literally have like 4 doctor's appointments booked this week, because I was like, I'm tired of dealing with XYZ thing. We're figuring it out. Like, so much of what you said, I was like, oh my God. And this idea of like, knowing who we are. I just got off of a call with my therapist to be like, I don't know what I'm doing. And she's like, you're masking. Who are you masking with? Is it people you know? How do you remove it? Like, just there's a lot that you just said where I was like,
yeah, it's insane. I've been going through, I recently had this epiphany because I've been doing a lot of work to heal a lot of trauma that goes back way beyond people I even met in real life in my family.
Oh yeah, we have been purging not just our own trauma and not just our childhood trauma. We've been purging generational trauma collectively, and we've been purging spiritual karma. We're purging because time is irrelevant, right? Science has officially pretty much proven this. Time is a construct. When you do the healing in this life, it does echo out through time, backwards and forwards. It makes everything align better. So you can heal past lives. You can heal grandparents that are long gone. You can heal people thousands of years back in your lineage just by doing the work now. It can happen. And it does make a difference, and it does have an effect over things. So sometimes with some of the stuff we're processing, we're like, what is this? This isn't even mine. Like, I don't know where this is coming from me, but I'm carrying it somehow. A lot of that, because our body carries like stress. If you don't process it, and if you were stressed and if you were developed in a stressed womb, guess what? That's going to have an effect. Like, it does pass down from generation to generation. And so don't think that what you're doing, if you're like, fuck, am I ever going to get to the bottom of this? Am I digging, and there's another layer and another layer. Somebody described it the other day to me as a Russian doll. And I was like, okay, when does it stop?
Yep.
But once you finally get down to the core, which is that authentic part where you're like, this is what I know to be true for me and who I actually am as of today. Then you start building up the layers again and putting the layers back on the doll. And if you get to a point where the layers don't fit anymore, guess what? You're going to go through it again. Like, it's this shedding and process that we all go through over time as our lives. This is just part of it. There is always going to be death and rebirth.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because the kind of thing that slapped me in the face, the thought that slapped me in the face was, as I've been doing this work, I thought, okay, I'm going to be like a Pokemon. Like, I'm going to evolve. And it's like, no. I have to literally murder who I was in order to become who I am. There's no like, I'm going to grow into this. It's literally like, I have to like knock her unconscious with a shovel and then bury her and then like step into that space as the person I want to be. And that's like, I think that's where I personally have been very stuck, is like, I don't want to kill her, but now I'm realizing it's like a mere her.
What it is it's reintegration. So those parts of yourselves that either you deemed unlovable or somebody else deemed unlovable are what make up our shadow. And so that shadow, think of it like Peter Pan's shadow. It's a part of him. He doesn't get to sever from it. When he's severed from it, he's actually more chaotic. You don't have to kill it. There is a death and rebirth process, but it's more Phoenix, less than.
So I immediately go off yourself. Murder.
Much
fair.
But so what happens is you actually have to bring that back into the fold with love.
Okay. Any suggestions?
So, like, you actually, you don't hate that piece of you. You don't say that was never me. You go, that was who I was. And those are my memories and those are my experiences. And without those memories and experiences, you wouldn't be the person having the breakthroughs today.
That's fair. So then any suggestions on how to deal with potential resentment, either for past versions of myself or for listeners out there that are about to go into family gatherings that have some resentments towards other people? Any suggestions on how to confront that?
So everybody's got a little, like, I feel like the word is transmutation. It's taking that resentment and finding a way to turn that into something better. Now, how you do that's probably going to be a little bit different. Some people might do art. Some people might sing. Some people might write. Some people might dance or move. But taking that pain and giving it somewhere else to live outside your body.
Okay.
That's not, you have to give it a place to go. Anxiety and stuff like that, that is an unfulfilled flight or fight response. So that is when we store it in our body. We had this anxiety and stress, and then we didn't, your body's going, did the tiger come or not? Is the tiger still after me? And it doesn't know what to do. So those chemicals just stay in your body. And like, you have to like, let that energy move through you. And that's why if you've ever had like, really intense body work done and you just start crying for no reason.
Yeah. I've had acupuncture and like it's like the only time I've dreamed. I've gone on like vision quests. It was the weirdest thing.
I also believe you can process and heal things in your dreams, so you don't have to do it when you're.
I've had that happen like in workouts sometimes. The one and only time I did Soul Cycle, it was also on Father's Day.
Oh yeah, no, an intense workout can absolutely like crack.
Yeah, well, it was on Father's Day, and the I was going to say the host. What are they called? The trainer, the person who's running the workout. Thank you. I was like, I don't know what they're called. She started talking. The soul sucker. She started talking about like relationships with fathers, and it wasn't just me. I was already crying, but then I was just like ugly sobbing. Like, it was disgusting in terms of like how much snot I got on everything. This was before the pandemic, so we didn't know. But like, I think about that a lot, and I'm like, man, like, I do think so much of it was just like where I was at in the workout. And then earlier this week, I've started meditating again. And the first 2 sessions, simply sitting and breathing and being that connected to my breath, it just tears streaming down my face. I was like, oh, we're going to keep going. We're going to keep doing this, because clearly there's stuff in there that like needs to come out. But I find like and with working out, like, you're so connected to your breath. I think for me, when I do intense breath work, that's where it.
Oh, breath work is absolutely for you. You can Google a breath work on YouTube and it's going to help, period. Like, it doesn't take much. Like, and they can be really intense, actually. Just your breath alone, like, your whole body can get, like, I don't know if you guys have ever done like an actual breath work, like an intensive breath work.
I haven't.
Your whole body basically gets high.
Yeah. That's
off of the oxygen. Like, you straight up, like, your whole body is like tingly and physical. It's a very physical.
Is it like
experience.
An energetic orgasm?
It is kind of wild. I feel like some people probably could. Like, it's you feel, it's actually confuses your brain. There's different breath patterns that do different things. I'm not a breath worker, so I can't explain like the logistics of it. I've just done them, and you do different patterns of breath. But basically, they do it for certain time periods and stuff like that. And what it does is it's working with the brain chemistry. It does give your brain that little bit of like, oh, I might die. Fear, but then you crack into like stuff because of those chemicals rolling around in your body. Like, because it's hard to do it. You're like, wait, and they're like, nope, keep pushing. I know it feels like you're going to pass out, but you're not going to. Like, you feel like you're on the verge of passing out. But once you get past the other side of that, your whole body.
A lot of actors use that, and
you can find classes honestly at a lot of yoga studios if you'd rather go do it in person. Like, they're actually really is it yoga nidra? I could be wrong on that. Somebody's gonna have to fact check me. But it's a type of like yoga classes.
This is one of the things in theater school where I wasn't pretending to be a chair or a tiger, but the way like a lot of actors cry on cue is simply by hitching your voice into a very particular part of your register and breathing like you do when you cry. And then you trick your brain into crying, because you're physiologically, like, you're mimicking crying. And so then it just starts to actually happen.
You did that once. We were at our office job, and we had just met, and I had just found out you were an actor, and we were in the kitchen, and you just did it, and you started crying, and it terrified me. It like impressed me, but also I was like, is she okay? And then you're like, yeah, no, I was acting. I was acting.
Yeah. But breath work is like fascinating how much it just very quickly taps into your emotions.
But it's all about finding an outlet.
Sorry, what was that?
Is all about finding an outlet for those feelings, for those icky things that are coming up, because you have to process them. And processing them doesn't necessarily mean you have to have a panic attack on the floor. I mean, sometimes that's part of the process. It happens to the best of us. We've all had an attack. I had one 3 days ago, like, where I was just like falling apart, because I'm in a huge period of transition myself. Like, I'm trying to manifest a new apartment. And so I've manifested one for a little bit that's super cute. We'll see how far this goes, but we'll check back next time, and I'll tell you guys I have like this amazing place, and I'm so excited about it.
You'll be like, I own a mansion now. Like, what?
How do you manifest? Like, what are some of the things what is the process for you?
We're already doing it. The work you're doing, the shadow work, is a huge part of that. You have to realize that you want the thing. That's like the big part. You go, oh my God, I want this. Usually because of a transition of going, I don't have this, that you go, oh, but I want this. And then you see where the blockages are in you. So with, like, for example, Venus retrograde coming up, like I said, this is in a big effect through January. You're going to be seeing, probably people are going to be like, I want this out of my relationship, or I don't want this. Like, we're going to be looking at all of that. And what you do is you go, okay, well, you want it. You set the intention that you're going to have it, but then you find out where the blockages are when you're not finding it. Maybe it's the next person. Let's use love for an example, because it's a really easy one. You know, the next person you meet, it ticks all your boxes, you think, and then you find out, but this, and they're not it. And you're like, but I still don't have it. Okay, well, you know that these are definitely important, but maybe we need to look for these red flags so we don't go there, or we need to have a boundary around this. If you're bad at boundaries, codependency issues are being healed majorly right now and through the next few months in particular. You're going to see a lot of codependent relationships go up in flames because they're not going to withstand Venus retrograde. The unhealthy relationships are not going to handle it. They just won't. If you're a healthy relationship, or two people are working together to solve it, to work through the problems and the issues that come up, you'll actually come out the other side of it stronger. Like it's kind of a make or break it thing, but it's similar energy to, because it's got Pluto in it. It's also doing it conjunct Pluto. So this is big time transformation. And we don't have Venus retrogrades all that often. They're not super rare, but they're not like super common either.
What's Pluto's deal? Is he still pissed that we kicked him out? Like,
no. Pluto always just wants you to transform. So all that shadow work, Pluto rules your shadow. Like that's what it's connected to. So the places where we don't feel lovable, or we don't feel like, where we're not holding standards to what we deserve in our relationships and our jobs and our lives, all of those things are going to be shown to us. If the places where we still don't have high enough standards are going to be shown to us in the next couple of months. Like, and that goes, like I said, on the 19th of December is when that goes retrograde. And then of course we have, I forget exactly when the dates, I'm terrible sometimes with remembering them, but it's late January is when that kind of starts to chill out. But it's, again, all of these things, as much as they are hard, as much as you go, retrograde run, it's only exposing problems that are gumming up the works of your life. They're getting there in the way of the things you want to manifest. If you want, here's a fun manifestation story for you. I've been staying with my grandfather, who has a bit too much stuff. And he doesn't really have room for me to stay there. And he's been working on cleaning it out. He went through and he got rid of a bunch of stuff and took it to Goodwill last week. He asked me, how can I be a millionaire? And the cards said, keep cleaning. Basically, to sum it up, they were like, sit with your stuff. Don't, you keep pushing away and going, la, 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 it's not here. It's not here. Us ignoring the problem is what's blocking you from calling in the things that you want as far as manifestation goes. And he got rid of a bunch of stuff. And this morning, or last night, I think I mentioned this to you guys beforehand, but last night he went to the casino and won a bunch of money.
That's amazing.
And I'm not saying that that's always what comes, but he out loud actually said he wanted to help me with a purchase of mine. And he came and handed that to me today. When you set it the intention, you verbalize it, you're clear on what you want. He says, he wanted to manifest money to help me buy a new camera so I can upgrade. And he said the intention out loud. He let go of some shit just like that.
Ooh, I have chills.
I am sweating everywhere.
And he looked at me and I said, I told you magic's real. And that was the last thing I said to him today. I told you it's freaking magic. It works. But that's how manifestation is. You set the intention, you do the inner work. A lot of times there is sometimes a little bit of a test that pops up, like an opportunity where you almost have what you like, or like in, let's say, love, like I was saying as the example earlier, that you have someone who fits almost all the boxes, but there's one big thing wrong. Like maybe it's like a long-term compatibility thing, like you want kids and they don't, or like, I'm not talking like, oh, this person isn't the perfect human being. I'm talking like there is a direct incompatibility.
Something fundamental
for you that you want to look over because you really like this person. It feels really good. But the universe is like, is that the standard you're going to ask? Like, are you going to uphold, what you want? Do you want it? Like, and if somebody's like, maybe I do want kids, maybe I don't, they might go, well, I'll see if this relationship works and we'll decide there. If somebody's like, no, I need kids. Like, that's important to me, to the life that I want to create for myself. Then you have to walk away from a relationship that can't give you that. If you want to travel and your person's like, I'm never going anywhere. What's the point? Like, if you have these huge lifestyle incompatibilities, or there's something just inherently that isn't right for you, you may get that test. I'm not going to tell you because that is often a part of the manifestation process. But then once you do the work, the last thing is there's usually, along with that test, comes a little bit of a dark night of the soul. You doubt it. You doubt that you can have it. You doubt, but you have to go, no, I still deserve better than this. And you say no, even though you do want that thing a whole lot, because you think it's what could be. But there's actually something yet better. But the thing is, you can keep doing that as much as you want. Nope, that's still not enough. Thank you. Next. Like, I'm still asking for better than that. Like, I'm glad. Thank you for the opportunity, but that's not enough. You can say that to your bosses. You can negotiate better pay. Also, just the power of negotiation feels very significant in the next few months. Like holding your ground, holding your boundaries, knowing what you deserve, and going, okay, we could talk about this, but you're going to have there needs to be negotiation involved, a back and forth. It has to be a partnership. It can't be a one-sided thing. One-sided connections, leave them in fucking 2021. We don't need them. Any of them. If you are putting in way more in a relationship than they are giving to you, it is already not the right thing. Like, it just is.
And that's that on that. So what do you know, what can we expect in 2022? Like, will it get better?
I mean, I'm feeling very, very good things. Every time I think about it, I get chills, which are my yes sign. Like, oh yeah, that feels true. That's right. And that's another good just tactic in general. To know what your yes and no signs are in your body. When you know something and you're like, hell yeah, I'm all in. What does that feel like in your body? Versus, I don't know about that. Apprehension. I don't know. Like, where does that how does that manifest in your body? In my case, I get like anxiety, upset stomach for no, and body chills and like goosebumps.
Yeah.
For yes.
Is there any way to, like, if someone doesn't know, what's a good way for them to figure out? Just paying attention. Okay.
Be in your body more. Like being in it's the being present in your body. If you're so disconnected from your body that you haven't, not that you haven't learned that, but that you can't feel that, then that in and of itself is going to be part of your journey and part of your process.
Whoa. Whoa. So we have like some more darkness to get through before.
The next couple of weeks we're still diving deep to come back up. In most cases, some people are already experiencing that lightness. It is happening, but there's also, it's kind of a mixed bag right now. Like, we are manifesting things. We're starting to get rewards for the work that we've been doing, but we're also still dealing with the shadow aspects too. But that's the thing about spirituality and spiritual work and energy work is you cannot have the light without the dark. It's not possible. There's no shadow without light. There's no,
even if you are not ready for the day. It cannot always be night. We've been on TikTok for too long.
My whole life.
I think all of us have. And it's the same 10 things.
I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it. Yeah.
I'm not. It's fun. I am impressed how people can take the same 10 things over and over and make me continue to laugh at the same jokes.
Yes.
Doesn't matter. Like, you delivered it.
Yeah. There's an astrologer that I follow on TikTok, and I always know he's gonna roast Capricorns, and I'm here for it because it's always true. And I love him. And I'm like, yeah, it's the same joke, just in a different. You've spiced it up a little bit, but
you're the same target.
I am.
The other day, a Capricorn who doesn't know anything about astrology asked me what I thought Capricorns were like, and first word out of my mouth was stubborn, and she looks at and she goes, am I stubborn? To the other person in the room, and I just looked at her and he looked at her and they just stared.
Yeah.
It's also stubborn. At the same time, you hold your ground, you stand up for things, you're not
strong manifestors then.
Yes, cardinal signs really are. Not that others can't, but like cardinal signs they're really good at setting the intention. They're not always good at following through.
Correct. Yes.
What are Aquarius? I'm not, what am I?
You're very good at envisioning the future, like the way it could
sounds about right.
Like, you're always going to be like, this could be better. That's just what Aquarius does. They come up with new ideas, they innovate, and they're always pushing the envelope towards the future. So, like, but can you get lost in that and not realizing what you have 100%.
Absolutely. I'm always in a daydream somewhere else dreaming about a future state where we all just live in harmony.
But it's part of, but actually Aquarius is a cardinal.
Am I?
Sign
I don't know.
Too.
It's cardinal,
mutable
and fixed.
I'm not a cardinal. I know that.
I think it might be because they're all the first ones.
Yeah, because you're the first air sign of the zodiac, so I believe you're cardinal, right?
I don't know. Now I'm second guessing myself. Anyway,
I'm fact checking.
Cardinal signs are good at starting things. Mutable ones are good at being flexible and like adapting. And then fixed signs are really
I'm
stubborn.
Fixed. Aquarius is fixed.
Like fixed. It's hard for you to change your opinion. It's hard for you to shift an idea. That's just fixed signs are.
I mean,
they fix. They don't like to move. They don't like to change a lot.
Why do I have to change my idea if I'm right?
Wow.
What an Aquarius thing to say. So Chanelle, something that you offered off air before we started recording was to maybe you do tarot. You did a tarot reading for me when I was in LA recently, and it just touched the depths of my soul. You offered to maybe pull a card for the listeners, for the world.
Yes.
Can you indulge us, please?
Can. So just like a quick collective message for everybody that listens to the podcast.
And really quickly, because I'm sure, I know Victoria is probably screaming at the podcast. The line that we were trying to quote at the top of the show from The Princess Bride is, "Life is pain, Highness. Anyone who tells you differently is selling something." That was the quote.
Thank you.
I was like, I know a few people who.
It hasn't been that long since I watched the movie, but I was like, can't hear it right now.
Yeah, you're welcome. I was like, it's going to bug me. I know it's Carrie Elway.
All right, let's see here. So what does everybody listening to this need to know right now? I'm just going to go with those cards because that's enough. Okay.
The suspense.
The suspense. All right. First card out of the deck was the Five of Swords. Now that is saying, Five of Swords does represent conflict. I did tell you guys that the next few weeks are particularly prone to conflict, but that conflict is dealing with issues that are needing to be addressed. They're things that no longer can go unspoken about. You might have resentments and stuff might come up. So Five of Swords, but it talks about having like integrity in the fight. Like, yes, there's conflict, but like, stand your ground, hold your ground. You can weather this. Then we also have the Five of Wands, which is also another conflict card. Sorry, guys. So you probably, listening to this, have just recently been put through it. Now, the next card that we have out of this is the Eight of Pentacles and Temperance Reversed. So this is, I know that things feel really out of balance right now. And it might just take some time for everything that has happened to settle. There's just going to have to be a little bit of a downtime. Some of us might have to go back to work and just start focusing on work again, things like that. With Eight of Pentacles represents like a craftsman hard at work, but generally it's somebody who's hard at work doing something they very are passionate about or care about. In this deck, it is an artist. So this is not going back and having to get into the old patterns. This is aligning with the work that needs to be done, that needs to be done, but it's also good for your soul. So there may be seed planting or things you've got to get prepared for coming in the new year. Try to also connect to your creativity with this particular deck, Eight of Pentacles, because it is an artist. And Temperance Reversed you're going to feel out of balance after going through all of this. It's like you rode too many roller coasters and now you feel a little sick. You got to just chill for a while. The rest is just as important as the action. You don't always have to be at cause. You don't always have to be the one taking all of these steps to get everything at once. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You have to make sure it's balanced. And it's also going to be balancing all the different areas of your life, learning what is it going to take, what's in your life now, what does that look like, what does centeredness and balance look like in the moment, and finding that. It's also hot and cold kind of a thing, like mixing of two energies to make it all work. So maybe you have things in your life that you don't see how the pieces all come together yet, but you're the one that can bring them all together. And the last thing is that Temperance Reverse talks about the middle path to success. That it's not about doing things to the extreme. It's about doing things consistently and doing them right. It's finding that balance. But because it was reversed, I know that a lot of people are probably not going to be feeling very great in that. I'm feeling like it's like the window between Christmas and New Year's. They want to go into the new year hopeful, but they're not feeling hopeful because they just went through chaos. The good news is, though, is that chaos is something that is fading. Like it's happening right now, but it is something that by the time you're probably hearing this is going to mostly have passed. I'm not telling you all of it because we do still have that Venus retrograde, but like this is just a period. You have to get through the other side. So find balance, do some damn art, whatever your art is, whatever makes your brain light up and get creative and make you feel passionate about working towards that goal. Those things that you want to manifest and that you want to create and bring into the world, work towards them. They're a great place to put your energy when you are like, wow, okay, all this just happened and I need to focus on something. Do something that's for you, that's inspired, that's creative, and that down the road, like it's something I also think these are things you're already good at for the most part. Some people are realizing, oh my God, I want to be this, and they don't know how to do that. But inherently in the fact that you wanted to do it means that you usually have good taste in the thing. So you're ahead of other people. Like people that want to make films are because they're like, I could do better. Like, let's be real. People that want to paint art are because they're like, I could do that. Like they could do that too. They may not feel that. That's the imposter syndrome. But hopefully we've worked through a lot of that by now. Hopefully. And if not, it's never too late to start a journey.
That resonates so much.
The whole theme of this show.
What we constantly try to tell people.
I think people that, because we are built, and we're all at different stages of our life. It's not like we're all the same age either. That's the thing. It's like certain people are just going through different things because that's what you do at that stage of life. But collectively speaking, we are all in in conflict. 5 of Swords is intellect. 5 of Wands is like your fire, your passion, creativity. They're conflict energies, but they're also like 5 of Wands is fighting for what you want. 5 of Swords is standing up for yourself, knowing what's like, it's logical, but it's also like, you're like, I know this is right. I should do this. It's somebody who also can often be like beaten down and worn down after a battle. And then here's this other another one. It's just like, oh my God, I can't do this anymore. So just know that this too shall pass. Stand up for yourself, defend yourself, stand up for what you know is right. And it's about fighting for the future that you want. I'm not saying go out and just pick fights for no reason, but fight for the life that you want and the future that you want. What is worth fighting for is what the 5 of Wands asks of you. And the 8 of Pentacles, again, is somebody who's applying themselves to that which they're passionate about and that what they're good at and that they're called to do. This is not work, like just the humdrum of work. Sometimes it does talk about like, you just got to get it done. There's just stuff you got to do. I also think that we probably all have a lot of little things. I feel like logistical, like adulting things that a lot of us have let pile up over the holidays. I feel like we're going to have a catch up period of that in January too. But using this downtime that is January energy, downtime's probably not the right place to say it, but like there is this kind of lull before the new life comes. Deal with all the other stuff right now. Just deal with what's in here, because when the new stuff comes, you're going to be really friggin' busy anyway. Like the new stuff is going to fill up all this time where we're like, I have nothing to do on my schedule, but I'm still going to avoid that thing. Like just do the things that need to get done. Find balance though. Like that's the key. Even if you're feeling unbalanced, you can always find your center, and everybody can do that differently. Go take a bath, go take a shower. If you don't have a bath, go take a shower, hot steam, sit with a candle, have a nice cup of tea. I don't care. Whatever it is that just is your little, like, this is my happy place. Where is that? Go sit there, get centered, get balanced, and then get to work when you're ready. But also don't be afraid of rest, because there probably is a lot of work coming in. So if you have the moment to rest, allow yourself to heal from that which has also come. So, but it's working forward without doing burnout this time around. No burnout anymore. Like work, apply yourself to your goals, whatever those may be, but don't do it to the point where you're burning yourself out. I think a lot of people are just going to be burying themselves in work, trying to avoid the conflict, trying to avoid the emotions, but they have to actually find balance, or you're not going to heal it. You're not going to.
So what I'm hearing you say is it's not necessarily about productivity in this short term. It's about doing the things to clear space for what is truly going to enter your life. Yeah.
What you're building. Right. Like we are purging. Like, and again, in your own personal life, this may be, take what resonates, leave the rest. It's not every little thing is always going to resonate. Anyone who tells you it is like, that's crap. Because not everybody's the same. We're all at different periods of our lives. Our astrology charts are different. So they're interacting with these planets different. They're hitting at different points. Like people that are in their Saturn return. I have some friends who've been peaking for the last 6 months. I have some that don't even start till next year. Their chaos doesn't even start till next year because of the timing of when they're born, even though they're all in their Saturn return. It hits at different points. So it's very specific. astrology goes pretty deep, and that's where the level of accuracy comes from, is when you dig really deep, because it's actually very personal. It's not just what's going on in the sky. I can talk about that. Collectively, this is what we're all experiencing. But like some people, it may not even really affect them because it's not hitting their chart.
And if
Venus retrograde is going to get me. Like it is all up in my chart. It's fine. We need a love life turnover, so it's okay. Like I'm like, good. I'm actually kind of excited.
I think that's a good example of like not being scared or not like being open to the change that's going to come, even though it's going to be hard.
How does one, asking for myself, how does one like figure out how Venus retrograde is going to impact them personally? Or what would you recommend taking a look at?
So you look in your chart. I know the answer to this, and I don't even know why I can't remember. I believe it is 27 degrees of what's it doing? Venus in Pluto. I'm going to have to get back to you on that. I can't remember right now. I looked it up. It's where Venus goes retrograde, the degree that it goes retrograde, which most of the posts talking about it will have it on there. Look at where that falls in your chart. You do need your birth time to be this specific, though.
I got that.
You have to have that. Otherwise, it's kind of guessing from there. Because your birth time is what sets the dial of your birth chart. Where on
26 degrees.
Because it's the ascendant that was on the
26 degrees. You nailed it. Yeah.
So you looked it up.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's 26 degrees of Capricorn.
Well, Capricorn is my sun sign. Or
no. Wait, your Venus.
Oh, my Venus. My Venus is in Aquarius. I don't know if that is helpful or not.
Mine is also that does not actually, that'll help you look at on your chart. You need to look at the little dial and the degree that and sign that it goes retrograde at. Look where that combo falls on your chart. That piece of the pie of your chart, it's the house that it's in. Look up what that house means. That's the area of your life that's like the flavor, if you will. That's going to be the area of the life most affected by the Venus transit. Mine goes right through it's all interacting with my 7th house and 8th house, which is Pluto and Venus. And it's Pluto and Venus. I have a nice little Jupiter placement, though, which is expansion. So it's conjunct. It's directly happening on top of several of my natal placements. So for me, it's going to be extra transformative, but expansive in all good ways. Everybody else may have different. So like somebody, if theirs goes through happens in the 4th house, they're going to be probably thinking about what they want out of their home.
Okay.
Like they might be thinking about moving, or like I deserve better in my home, or something like that. Somebody who's going through the 10th house is going to be probably looking at career changes, or being like, I need to negotiate a pay raise or something like that. So look at the house that is happening. Somebody's going through like a 12th house transit is going to have spiritual growth coming out of all of these things.
And if someone is listening to this and they're like, what the fuck are they talking about? What are these houses? What are these degrees? Can they reach out to you? And
you can send me your birth chart. But I do need the circle graph, not just like the co-star list. But you can send me your birth chart, and I can very quickly tell you what, like, if whatever transit at the time is relevant, you can just go, oh, okay, well, this transit's going to affect me in this way. This transit's going to affect me in this way. It's like,
and where can they reach you? Where can they find you? Where can you help with them? Okay.
Instagram, the Wayfinder's Path is probably the easiest way to reach me. And I'm also, I update like what's going on and share things that are relevant about what's going on.
And can they also reach out to you there if they want like a tarot reading? Awesome.
Of course.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for sharing so much of your knowledge and giving me at least hope for what's to come, because I've been in it.
There is good at the end of the tunnel, even though it feels like shit right now, because for a lot of people it does. But look for the lesson, and also be grateful for what you have right now, because that's what calls in the manifestation. I know it's chaos, but think of it all as realignment and transformation. But sometimes the death has to happen for that transformation to occur.
Well, thank you.
And we're heavily into that period right now.
I'm ready. I'm going to Joan of Arc that shit. Thank you so much, Chanelle. Thank you, Chanelle. This has been incredible.
Of course. It's always a pleasure. And I will talk to you guys later.
Well, we hope you enjoyed that episode with Chanelle, and that you have some hope moving forward into the new year.
I do. I hope y'all do too. Damn. We need it. Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. We hope you have the most amazing end of 2021.
Yep, correct.
Got it right that time. And the most amazing start to 2022. We have some really fun things planned for you all for 2022.
I am pumped about our first episode for 2022. Look, I feel like a lot of times the start of the new year is a little rough because you're like, what is happening? Mm-hmm. Am I still hungover?
Gloomy.
It's gloomy. Even if you're like not physically hungover from drinking your ass off, there is this like, okay, we just had the holidays. So we are starting you guys off with a giggle fest with our first episode of 2022, and we are pumped.
So excited.
Get excited.
Tell all your friends.
Yeah.
Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your prayer circle, tell your book club.
Should we tell the guests or the listeners who the guest is? Or should we just...
No.
There we go.
Tune in. Hit that follow, that subscribe button, whatever it is, wherever
hit the
you're
notifications so that way you know.
Exactly. You get a little notification when it pops up. We already have our first 2 episodes of 2022 on deck for you all, and it gets deep. There are deep cuts, but there are also lots of giggles and revelations and just amazing human connections. Yep. And I'm so pumped.
Me too. We've got some really wonderful guests lined up for the start of the new year. So
yeah,
you guys are in for an awesome ride. So are we.
I just found out that apparently a lot of people listen to us on Apple Podcasts. If you listen to us on Apple, please leave us a review. Give us those 5 stars.
Yeah, please do.
Because that's what's going to get us bumped up and what's going to get more people listening to us. And then you get to have the bragging rights by saying, I was listening to them before they blew up. I've been here from the beginning. So
yeah. And if you guys could leave a comment, that helps too.
Yes.
We'd very much
even
appreciate
send
it.
You a note. We'll send you a little card. And it'll literally say, thanks for being with us from the beginning.
Aww.
But you got to get us up in those charts and up in those ratings and everything. I mean, if you genuinely like us, which I hope you do.
Yeah. If you hate us, don't leave a review or rating. It's fine.
If you hate us, then I think there's just like a miscommunication, and I'd love to like have us all hop on like a little phone call and just like talk it out and see like, are you like going through something? Can we help?
I was going to say, if you hate us and it's not a compatibility thing, that's fine. There are other podcasts out there, but your approach is nice too.
Hate is strong. I feel like anyone that feels hate, let's talk about it, because I don't want that for you. I don't want that for you.
That's nice. Right.
Also, fuck 2021.
We out.
Bye.
Bye.